What is up, everybody? It is again Friday, March 17th, and we are talking about Dynasty in this podcast. And we're going to look at some, I don't know what you want to call it, deep dash sleeper players, guys that are probably maybe on your waiver wire that you potentially should add because depending on how the offseason shapes out, they could become starters or significant fantasy contributors next year. As always, joined by my brother Brian and our father Jeff. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Good. You guys better listen deep because we got some good information for you.
Boomer
Deep
up.
is
You're
the
supposed to say boomer
deep.
up.
Yeah, boomer up. St. Patty's Day. I'm spending all your Social Security, so
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go through we each have a player at each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. That we think maybe there's a chance they do something. So as usual, we'll start with the quarterbacks. I think that's a little harder. This is for super flex, by the way, which most I think all dynasty leagues should be. But super flex, a little harder to find a guy that's probably not rostered. But Brian, you want to start with yours or?
Yeah, I kind of did my stuff last minute, so I didn't really find one that I really liked. I know we were kind of going for like you said, like deeper guys. Like I think both these guys are going to be on people's teams, but they were both rookies last year, and we didn't see much of them. And what we saw wasn't great. But that's Sam Howell, the Commanders. Like it'll be kind of interesting to see like how long he can hold on to his job. And I guess it's going to depend on like a lot of the team around him. Like he's got two good receivers, he's got two good enough running backs for sure.
got three good receivers.
Yeah, that's true. They do have Curtis Samuel still, so not bad
Yes.
for your number three. Like
Just to beat out Jacoby Brissett.
yeah, but I feel like it kind of depends on I wonder if they're gonna start Sam Howell, and if he struggles, bring in Brissett, or they do it the other way around. Like if they just go with Brissett, and if they start sucking, then they bring in Howell to see what they have to try and figure out for next year. So that'll be pretty telling. We should know I'd say by week 4 or 5, like what's going on there.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think he definitely needs to be on rosters. And he looked good in the one game he played. It was against the Cowboys, who were actually playing to win that game. So week 18. So I like that.
Only 11 completions for 170 yards and a touchdown. But again, I didn't watch the game like closely or anything like that. They obviously weren't putting it on his back. They only gave him 19 pass attempts. So
yeah.
But obviously the Cowboys aren't a defense to kind of mess around with either. So you can't hold it against them.
Yeah. Dad, who's your guy?
Yeah. So I went deep. Guy's name is Danny Etling. And I know no one's ever heard of him because I never heard of him, but he will be right now. He is Jordan Love's backup quarterback number 2. So let's say Jordan Love gets hurt. This guy, they'll drag this guy in, and he'll be the new starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
Or if Jordan Love sucks. We don't know anything about Jordan Love.
Yeah. I'm assuming he'll get hurt. Remember the stat of, there was like 70 some quarterbacks that started last year. So there's only, I think, 12 of them that started all 17 games. So there's a good chance that this guy's going to play. Danny Etling.
Can I ask you a question, Dad, about that? Like, so I'm looking, because like you're right, I've never heard of the guy. So I looked him up, and so he's been in the league for 5 years.
The Rodgers thing hasn't happened yet, so I think both the Packers and the Jets are waiting for to make some more moves and make some more roster moves, and for the Rodgers thing to happen, and then they can start moving things around. But this is something that we're just doing for today. And Mike asked for something deep, and I'll give you something deep. There he is, right there, Danny Etling.
Well, yeah, I mean, Superflex Dynasty leagues, I think most quarterback QB, a lot of QB2s are on rosters, and he became the QB2 as of now. The only reason I know about him is because in our draft competition, he was, I think, Bree's quarterback, that we did the third string quarterback draft competition. So
Oh
I think that
yeah,
was
yeah.
Bree's. But I'll get into
was like
mine. Oh,
that
yeah.
was like spin the wheel type thing. She didn't pick
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll get into mine, and a guy that I actually liked coming out of college, Kellen Mond. He was on the Vikings. He was drafted pretty high. I mean, he was like a very high third round pick. Um, I liked him again in college. Got cut by the Vikings. He went to Texas A&M, a big school. Now he's on the Browns. And basically, the only reason I'm mentioning him is because I really liked him in college, and I think he has potential. And we'll see with the Deshaun Watson stuff how that works out. But Kellen Mond's just the guy to kind of keep an eye on. Again, it's really hard to find quarterbacks that aren't already rostered in super flexes. So these are,
Yeah,
again, very deep.
Yeah, definitely not ones that you think have any kind of chance.
Yeah.
I know we're trying to go through it a little quick, but I was just gonna bring up as the other rookie that we saw only a few games of, and he looked like garbage. Was Malik Willis? Like he was drafted last year. It's like, oh, he's gonna be a runner. Like we'll see what happens, and not so much. But that's all going to depend on what they do with Tannehill's contract, because it sounds like they can save some money by cutting him. I think. I don't know. I don't understand that stuff as well as you guys do, but again, yeah, he's on roster, so I guess I don't even know why I'm bringing him up.
Yeah. We'll see. Going into running backs, I'll start with mine. I really like this guy, Jerome Ford, for Cleveland. I drafted him in our Dynasty League in the 4th round. I wasn't able to hold on to him, unfortunately. He should be rostered because, a little background on him. He was recruited to Alabama, spent a couple years in Alabama, was behind Najee Harris and Brian Robinson and all the other running backs that go through Alabama. Went to Cincinnati and went off in 2021, had huge numbers. Got drafted by Cleveland, and he's basically like 4th on the depth chart in Cleveland. He was returning kicks there for a bit. I think he got hurt, but he was behind Chubb, Hunt, Dearness Johnson, and Dearness Johnson and Hunt are probably not going to be there on the Browns, and they're even talking about maybe even trading Chubb. So I don't know if they will, but at the worst, I think as of now, Jerome Ford's the RB2 for the Browns on a team that runs the ball a lot, and I think he's talented. Obviously talented enough to be recruited to Alabama. So I really, really like Jerome Ford. Think he should be rostered. Brian, you want to bring up yours?
Yeah. I guess I'm going with double Malik's here, but a guy I picked up at the very end of last year, like right before we couldn't in Dynasty, was the undrafted rookie that the Cowboys got. Like he was basically, he was behind Zeke and Pollard. There might even have been someone else in front of him, because I don't remember him ever doing anything. I think he did start, or maybe he didn't even start the game, but he definitely played a little bit more. He didn't show anything like super great, but again, yeah, obviously undrafted free agent. So, we know how that goes. Like there's usually a reason these guys aren't drafted. He's not doing something right, most likely. But with them releasing Zeke, I guess we'll have to see what the Cowboys do to shore up their running back room, which I'm sure they will do something else. But I mean, the guy could be, he should be on a roster for now. And then he's kind of, if they do add something significant in the draft or in free agency before the season started, he's kind of an easy cut, like as far as to keep the end of your bench kind of fluid if there's something else you like.
Yeah, no, he 100% needs to be on rosters until something happens different, so he can catch the ball. He caught the ball in college as well. So I like that. Dad, who's your guy?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about Hassan Haskins, but I know he's rostered.
Most likely.
But so I'm gonna go down to RB number 3 for the Detroit Lions, and he was just re-signed. His name was Craig Reynolds.
Okay.
This guy has been with the team for 3 years, kind of off and on. He has played. He always looks wonderful in the preseason. He runs hard. He's kind of one of those guys who plays with his heart and stuff like that. So he has played, NFL games. Craig Reynolds. So if you're looking for somebody deep who may have a chance to slightly break out a little bit, considering, running back injuries again, Swift or David Montgomery, they get injured. Craig Reynolds will be the next guy up.
Yeah, I think the common denominator for all three of our running back picks is that they are on teams who run the ball well, have good offensive lines and good offenses in general, or the Cleveland should. And like that's where you want to target guys in deep these deep stashes is like, okay, if they get the opportunity to be the running back 2 or 1 on this team, they're going to be good. So, but moving along, Dad, give us your wide receiver deep stash.
Yeah, I'm staying in the NFC North, and this guy plays for the Packers. His name is Samori Toure, and he's he's a wide receiver 2 on the Packers right now. The Packers are, they have Watson and Dobbs, and they just lost Lazard and Cobb and stuff like that. So this guy, I don't know much about him, but he's obviously going to get a chance to show his stuff, and he might be moving up to the big team. So Samori Toure, I don't know if you guys know about him.
I've heard the name, and I just looked at his combine stuff, and he had a really good combine when he came out. So he put up really good numbers, ran a 4.44, good broad jump, good vertical jump. So seems athletic. And Packers don't really draft receivers, as we saw with their history with Rodgers. They don't draft for high end receivers, so I like that for sure. Brian, your guy?
What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say obviously I didn't go quite as deep as you guys, but because this guy's definitely probably on a lot of rosters too. But we didn't see anything really from him last year, and I think the one thing that I remember about him was that. And so I'm talking about Tyquan Thornton for the Patriots. I think wasn't he like super quick? Like he was like the fastest guy, or the fastest receiver in the draft class last year.
Yeah, possibly. He was really fast. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
he was up there.
Yeah. And so I know that was kind of like, it's like, oh, like also he went to the Patriots, who they're not known for their receiving core. So it's like, oh, there could be some good potential there. He didn't really do a whole lot, but I mean, that's not really the Patriots' identity. But obviously, he doesn't have a ton of like crazy competition in front of him. I mean, they just got Juju, and it's like him and Devontae Parker. So it's kind of like he definitely. I guess it's going to come down to like what you think about Mac Jones in terms of like, can he make like deep passes, utilizing that speed to like stretch the field and actually like make completions like that, and to really have him be able to be worth something. But
yeah, he ran a 4.28, which is crazy fast.
That's very fast.
Basically, if you're in the 4.4s, that's good. That's like above average. If you're in the 4.3s, you're like, antennas go up. 4.2s is like, holy crap, right? Not many guys run that. So, and he's not a small guy. I mean, he's not heavy. He's 180, but he's like, I think he's like 6'2".
Yeah, it says he's 6'2".
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good call. I mean, and it's fine that it's not maybe as deep as ours, because there could be a lot of dynasty leagues that don't. This guy's sitting on the waivers, and so you never know for sure. So it's good to cover kind of all bases. But yeah, my guy is Danny Gray for he's in San Francisco right now. Big reason why I picked him was because he's in San Francisco, and just their history of developing guys and their offense and having productive players everywhere. He was a rookie last year, ran really fast as well. He was in the 4.3s speed. And Brandon Ayuk is in his final year of his contract. I haven't heard anything about contract discussions with Ayuk. I mean, I'm not saying they will, but I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't plan on signing him. They might just trade him. That's always a possibility. That's kind of how teams are approaching these situations now. That's how they kind of stay relevant for many years. It's like, all right, we're not signing this guy. Let's get something for him. And if that happens, maybe Danny Gray is the wide receiver too, the 49ers. So liked him in college, played at SMU, and intrigued to see what happens. And one of those guys, like we said, all of these guys could be nothing by the end of the draft or by the end of the offseason because of the moves that are made or trades that are made. But definitely a guy I think that should be held on to.
Yeah, he's a little tough. I like what Chris Towers says about San Francisco. It's like they kind of have a math problem, like it's like, well, you got Kittle, you got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Ayuk. It's like, it's tough, like even to pick which one of those guys, well, outside of McCaffrey, it's tough to pick which one of those guys is going to be good. I mean, you just kind of hope one of them is hurt so you have a little more clarity. Like, it's like, all right, I feel better about starting him, but yeah, things change.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll get to the last position, tight ends. Dad, you want to start with your tight end?
Yeah. So, being a Lions fan, last year about mid-season, the Lions traded their Pro Bowl tight end Hawkinson and to Minnesota, and it was like, what the hell, they're giving up on the season, and they had a couple of guys that actually filled in. So the guy I'm going to bring up, I think he was a rookie last year. He's second year guy. His name is Brock Wright. He ended up catching 18 passes and caught 4 touchdowns. He was he kind of filled in for Hawkinson. He's not a high volume guy, but he definitely was a red zone guy. So if you think 18 passes for half of a season, so 40 passes, and if he had caught a couple more touchdowns, that would be pretty good tight end numbers. Let's say 6 touchdowns, 40 passes. That would be okay.
Yeah, and you're aligning yourself with a good offense, and that's if you're gonna find a tight end going to score a lot of touchdowns, they need to be on a good offense, right?
Brock Wright is his name.
Yep. All right, Brian, here's your tight end.
Yeah, I actually wrote down Foster Moreau, but then I found out as we were doing this, it's like, oh, apparently like he's not on the Raiders anymore, or he's a free agent. So maybe he ends up getting re-signed, but
that's a deep dive.
Yeah, right.
He's not on a team.
He's not even on a team. I got one of those at least. Actually, I got 2 on my bench. I got Irv Smith and I've got Odell Beckham. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, it seemed like he did all right when he was filling in for Waller. Maybe not as good as I thought. Like
2021 was better.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he had a decent amount of targets. He had 54 targets last year. 33 catches, 420 yards. But yeah, I don't remember how many games Waller missed, but it seemed like he was kind of like filling in for him. But I mean, just like all tight ends, like if he's not getting a touchdown, he's not slaying it for you by any stretch.
Yeah. I like your other guy more.
You like the other guy that I wrote?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's like actually like a deep guy. That's Noah Gray. I remember telling Bree, like, I think he caught a touchdown like early on. Well, maybe it wasn't early. I'm seeing week 10, but like he actually, or maybe he just had like a good catch or something. And I was like, oh, that's the guy you should put on the end of your bench. So he's the tight end on Kansas City. So obviously, like he has a big problem in front of him, like in terms of like getting playing time and everything with Kelsey. But
Kind of.
again,
Yeah.
this is Dynasty we're talking about, and having a guy on the Chiefs on the end of your bench is never necessarily a bad thing. It looks like he
No.
didn't really play more than like 60% of the snaps on any one game, and obviously a lot lower than that in most games. But it's like, yeah, it seemed like they were kind of utilizing him, and they like to spread the ball around. And if they start spreading it to him a little more, if they're trying to groom someone to be their next tight end, because who knows how much longer Kelsey's going to play.
I was talking about Noah Gray like all of last year, basically. Like someone should pick him up, telling
Yeah.
you like someone in our dynasty team should
Yeah, I
pick him up.
remember
Like
we did
just
talk about that.
yeah, just look at how they use him like they used Kelsey. They do direct snaps to him. They use him creatively. Like he'll run under center and take a snap like Kelsey does, and so they are grooming him to kind of be the next guy. And yeah, he's not going to do anything probably next year, maybe even the year after. But most rookie tight ends don't do anything till their third year, anyways. Like so I think that's a way better, a really good stash. Like align yourself with a good team that knows how to use them. So for sure. Yeah, and so the last one, my tight end is Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys, and this is basically assuming that Dalton Schultz is not there. And you could be looking at the top tight end for the Cowboys next year. He was a rookie last year, I believe. I think he was drafted in the third round. So like pretty good fourth round, pretty good draft capital for a tight end, not terrible. And he played at Wisconsin, played at a big school. And yeah, I mean, look at how Dalton Schultz wasn't this amazing athletic stud tight end when he came out.
Okay, back.
Oh, did I get cut off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good timing. Where did I get cut off at?
I don't know. You were talking about Ferguson, and you talked
Okay.
about his draft capital, where they took
Yes.
him, and about all we heard.
Yeah, so basically he was drafted in the fourth round last year, and he's probably going to replace Dalton Schultz. I don't see the Cowboys paying him a bunch of money. So, Dalton Schultz wasn't this amazing athlete, big prospect coming out. He was a fourth round pick as well, and he just fell into the right team and put up really good numbers. And that could be Ferguson this next year. Like he could be right now, potentially he could be the most targeted player on the Cowboys, or definitely in the top three. So I think he definitely should be on rosters and kind of wait and see what happens. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end. Just some deep stashes. Maybe we'll do this again after the draft or something, and see how things change. But that's how you win dynasty teams, man. You got to find these guys that have the path to producing. So
yeah, a lot of these guys are kind of tough. Like they're definitely, especially like the tight ends and stuff. Like I wish. So we just started our dynasty league last year, and it's kind of like, man, if I had a taxi squad, like that's where I'd want some of these guys, like just sitting, just kind of marinating, At least,
I mean, Jerome Ford would have been on my taxi squad had we had one,
yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, they are hard to find because none of them have done anything. That's why they're deep stashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll finish up there, and we'll be back with another episode, new topic next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.